Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea. Welcome to a best of 3 between Dark in the bottom right as our red Zerg and Byun in the top left as our blue Terran player. Had a fantastic, phenomenal best of 5 between those two. I want to say a week and a half ago or so on this channel. That was such a sick series. I freaking loved that. Especially the first game is the biggest recommendation I'm going to give this year, I think. Just the way that Dark played there was phenomenal. If you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Because that was one hell of a series. Here we have Dark opening up with a hatch first. Byun with a standard barracks. Nothing weird going on. These players play each other a fair amount because both of them are massive cup grinders. Dark and Byun, both of them before the World Championship playing for 200k. They'll also still be playing in an online cup starting at 4 a.m. for $35. Like, these guys, they don't care so much about the prize money. They care about the competition. And if there's some money to be won, you know, they're all the happier. But it's not why they play. They're just like beating up other people. That's where they go for. And it's lovely to see that type of, I'm not even sure if you call it work ethic, just the drive to compete as much as possible is something that I really appreciate. I think there are a lot of high-level players that don't really have that same level of willingness to grind every open cup. I think Clem is one of them. I think MaxPax definitely is one of them as well. Byun, Dark, but you're looking at someone like Cyril, someone like Raynor. They like playing, you know, open cups, but especially Cyril, not as much. Like, I can't recall the last time I've seen Cyril in an open cup or in a Kung Fu cup, or really any minor online event. He focuses on the big ones, and I mean that seems to be going fairly well for him. Most other top players, I guess, do play quite a few of these, but Maru also doesn't actually play open cups. It's funny that the two best players in the world don't actually play open cups and open minor tournaments, but then rank 3 till 15, all of them are very keen on that type of stuff. So makes you wonder what the right approach is, or maybe both approaches are fine, and you know, it is what it is. Ooh, Byun, did he just get a kill there on a drone? I think he did. Did he just get a second kill on a drone? Dark, with a new approach here, deciding to completely skip links. Losing his creep tumor as well. I wonder what I think of all of this. I'm not a huge fan because he lost 2 drones. But technically, otherwise, you'd be building 4 links. But then the links would stay alive. So, yeah, this is definitely worse. A little bit more mining initially, I guess. But then, once you lose those 2 drones, life sucks. It really does. It must confuse the ever-living crap out of Byun, though. It looks at like, where's your links? Are you sending them across the map? Should I finish my second Marine? So many questions. 3rd CC goes down here. As the barracks with the tech lab is finishing up. We don't have a second barracks yet. We don't have a starport. And we don't have a second gas. So, I don't know. You guys tell me what this is going to be. I guess it's going to be a second barracks at some point. But, yeah, I don't actually know what this is. I'm curious, though. Because the money just isn't being spent. There's currently 400 minerals in the bank. Where are they going? Well, not into buildings, apparently. Now we're gonna get a swap, and now we get 2 barracks at the same time. Okay. You do you, buddy, but don't involve me in it. I don't like this build order. Not one bit. 4 Hellions out on the map. Reaper has gone down. Yeah, died. Hellions are trying to get some damage in. And now you know what the art is for the Terran player? The art is pretending like you're gonna get a starport unit. How are you gonna do that? I have no clue whatsoever. I don't understand how you can pretend that you have a starport unit, but that is important because then you can force out these spores. Look at that. Look at these fast freaking spores here coming out of Dark. What was that? 420 on spores against that triple CC opener, Dark? That's an absolute misread coming out of him. So against triple CC openers, you don't need to throw down spores before 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Against 2 gas openers, 2 gas before 3rd CC, you need them at about 425. So, well, if there's no starport, you obviously don't need them at all because they're really only there for the anti-air and the detection for banshees. And they're nice against liberators too, to be honest. So, yeah, this is a painful start for Dark, build order-wise. I mean, he hasn't taken a lot of damage, so execution-wise it has been good, but build order-wise, I'd say that Byun has the upper hand. He's now going to sneak in into the third base here. No Overlord on that bottom side for any vision. 4 drones go down. It's a little bit of damage, not a whole lot of damage. Dark is going to survive with only 12 links as he adds more and more drones into the mix. Marine count is growing. Yeah, expecting a swap on these two. Oh, and a reactor. So we're going to play mine style, which is not Byun's preferred style. He loves doing nothing and sitting with tanks. But now going for a heavy barracks influx. Big production here. And then just mines with it. So I'm expecting a lot of pressure coming out of Byun in the next 2.5 minutes. It's really going to be key to deal serious damage with that. I think, at least. With those initial 4 to 6 medevacs. That's where the main... You know, the scary points are going to be here for Dark. Like, he's looking at this, you're analyzing, okay, where am I going to be weakest? It's when these 5 barracks are pumping Marines with 4 reactors. It's going to be 9 at a time. You're going to get your medevacs out relatively quickly. Ideally, you're holding all of this of a worker count that is in the low 80s. 81, 82 drones. That's not going to be possible here, I think. I think Dark will need to cut initially... at, well, I think 76 is already... It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight on 76 drones here. Yes, the queen count is very good, but this is 1-1 Marines with combat shield. Against pure queen, aided by some slow banelings, a couple of links. So we see a lot of units in production here. Really a lot of units. Look at the supplies as well. 117 to 109, 125 to 109. This production is really sick. It's really fast. It's hitting hard. Next to medevacs. That's going to be the most important moment, I think. What is Byun going to be doing with those medevacs? He can go for a straight-up attack, just joining up with the first two, but that's not what he wants to do. He's going to split. He's going to split his armies, gets the pickup, wanted to go into the main base to cause a little bit of chaos. He's going to take the long way around. It's going to force a lot of Marines into the main, or a lot of Lings and Banes into the main. Spore's not entirely in position quite yet. Can probably just boost past this without really taking any major damage. There's no third Spore here in the far back. This is an issue here. This is a serious issue because at the same time Byun is pushing in. Mine, Hellbat, Marine, still up in upgrades. It's 1-1 versus 0-0. Byun is in a massive supply lead at this point in the game. He's up 25 supply. Now the upgrades are gonna finish. Hydra's popping out. That is a good timing for these Hydras to pop, by the way. But the topside base is going to get blasted. Fourth base, halfway done. 2-2, halfway done. Where are the upgrades here for Dark? Well, the answer is simple. They haven't even started yet. He's been focusing so much on not dying, and that he can't even start these upgrades. And he might still die anyway. There's hardly any Banes here. He needs to get the Queens here to the front. Can't afford to split up his army at this point. These medevacs are pretty empty. They're dry. They don't have no juice in them no more. So these Hydras are moving forward, trying to clear the medevacs. Reinforcements just streaming across the map. I would have loved for Byun to kind of keep his discipline and continue splitting up his army. Or just joining everything together. Actually, this is fine too. Never mind. I love this. This is brilliant. GG. Ooh. No GG. I think it's the first time in my life I've seen Dark leave without a GG. I think that is not a rage quit. I think it's just a misclick. Like, if this is any other player that leaves without a GG, well, that's not true, not any other player, but a lot of players, if they would leave without GG, I'd be like, okay, that's a rage quit. I have never seen Dark do that in my entire life. And Koreans, generally, especially the older ones, are super mannered. When Koreans play against each other, like between every game, they say I think it's like thanks for playing or well played in that game, no matter who wins. I'm pretty sure the loser says it to the winner as well. It's like, well done. And then the other guy says it too, in between every single game. So, although I would love for Dark, to have a cheeky little rage quit, I don't think it's quite in his character. From all my interactions with him and all the interactions I've witnessed between him and other players. So, sadly, I'm going to have to nip that potential drama in the bud before it goes anywhere. Hate to see it. I'm truly the fun police. The killer of joy. The buzzkill. That's what I am. Oh well. It is what it is. Cool build though, out of Byun. And Dark, he took that. He took that bait. Or the bait. Just he imagined a building that wasn't there. He imagined a starport. Way too fast on those spores. Ended up losing a couple of drones still to just a mere 4 Hellions. And then started taking serious damage to those drops. And yeah, pretty much exactly what I said is that the big influx of units with those early barracks, like, is crazy. If you have 5 or 4 reactors pumping Marines this early in the game, the Marine count really is something else. And Zerg still wants to get up to these higher drone counts. But yeah, he simply couldn't. And these spores actually, they benefited Byun greatly. Very early spores. That's -3 workers that just aren't mining the entire time. That's pain. It's absolute pain. Reap's gonna make its way across the map as this hatchery drone is already waiting to construct. It's the builder. Let's see what Byun's gonna be capable of getting. Oh, last game he also got two drones with the Reaper, of course, that didn't help either. So just, I think the entire early game just went poor for Dark, to be honest. It's gonna be building 6lings this time. Doesn't lose a single one. Has the hatchery up as well. Triple CC once more out of Byun. I wonder if we're going to see a similar build or a different type of build. Or no build. Just makes it up as he goes. I think if there's any race that can get away with that, it's kind of Terran. Everything always... You know, it's like how all paths lead to Rome. With Terran, kind of all paths lead to a legit build order. It's really difficult that if you know the basics of how Terran works, is to kind of mess up a build. I sometimes manage to do it, but these high-level guys, like, you could give them kind of weird instructions, and they would be capable of figuring something out. I guess it's the same for me with TOS. It feels like with Terran, though, it almost looks like a natural progression at times, you know? It's like, oh, this is a real build. While with Protoss, sometimes you look at a build like, oh, this doesn't feel like a real build, although it's being executed like one. But this, I mean, this just looks very standard. It's gonna be a Banshee, most likely. Could be a Raven, but meh. Yeah. These boys, they don't like the Ravens. Okay, they're not like me. I'm a big Raven enthusiast. A Raven collector. Raven's also the name for the bird, right? I think those birds are quite smart. I'm not sure if they're actually smarter than other birds or not. It's the same with the... Whenever they do like the research on like blueberries or something. It's like blueberries are really good for the brain or something. Or like filled with antioxidants. And then when you read about it, it's like, oh, just blueberries? And it's like, no, but they just haven't done the research on the, you know, on the more delicious berries. Because blueberries are kind of okay, but... The highest tier of blueberry versus the highest tier of strawberry is the easiest W in the life of the strawberry, right? I feel like the consistency of blueberries overall is a little bit better. But strawberries, if they're peak, they're really, really good. And it's the same with the... What's the other one called? It's a berry that is... It looks a little bit like a blackberry, but it's red most of the time. And it has a bit of hair. I don't know what it's called. I think in French it would be called a framboise. In Dutch it's a framboos. I don't know what it is in English for some reason now. Pink berry? Purple? No, don't know. Those are delicious. If they're high tier. My parents had a plant that gave yellow berries of that sort. God, they were good. They're much softer than blackberries though. They kind of melt in your mouth. But either way... Oh, he actually did build a Raven. What the hell? That's so cool. You always see these videos of Ravens being capable of, stacking cups or making tools to get some food or something. They still always, do things for food, though. Not a huge fan of that. I feel like a bird is truly smart when he realizes he can just take the food away from the human by knocking him out. They start picking at his eyes or something. Like, that's truly a smart bird. Here we see the Raven performing a trick that takes him 6 minutes for a single piece of food. Oh, that's real smart. But then you have the freaking pigeon and he just steals it. Like flies to a human, takes the entire sandwich. What's up with that? Or like a seagull, you know? It's like, how smart is that raven? It's like 3 breadcrumbs for performing this trick. Like, woo! Everyone's clapping. Freaking seagull just takes the bread away at the bakery. He's eating for the next 5 months of his life. Who's the idiot here, mate? Yeah, the seagull doesn't need tools. He just takes what he wants. Beast. I'm also sitting at the beach, actually. Oh, he has kills. Oh, it was Banshee into Raven. No cloak. Lol. You think Byun knew? Or he hoped? I think there's a little bit of hoping sometimes. I sometimes do that with oracles as well. Like, ooh, I really hope these queens aren't stronger than my oracles. Very often I end up losing both my oracles, kill nothing. Transfuse and all. Either way. Oh, I was sitting at the beach and the guy next to me was eating like one of them waffles with sugar. And a seagull just made a dive. It took this freaking waffle out of his hand. Yeah, it's crazy. Actually never seen that before. The guy looks real confused. He wasn't even mad. I wouldn't be mad either. What you gonna do? Catch the seagull? Unlikely. This guy's away. He's eating your waffle, you loser. Should have hidden it better. Moron. I was eating a bag of chips at the time. I remember thinking, that could have been me. But I would have fought for that bag of chips. Alright. We have a fat attack here coming across the map. Hellbats, marines, tanks. This isn't half as scary as what was happening last game, though. Not half as scary. The upgrades are similar. Eerily similar. Both of them at 1-1. 2-2 has started for both as well. Ooh, he isn't sieged. This is a terrible engagement out of Byun. He's gonna lose all of his important units. All of the units that he ever built with that factory are going down. Raven is going around. We'll get some auto turret harass here. We'll take out 2-3 drones. Oh, Byun, come on. What are we doing here? Sloppy play. Loses a bunch of marines. Loses all of his pressure on the map, which is probably bigger even than... Well, that's, I guess, kind of the... What happens? The consequence of losing the marines, that you lose the pressure. Dark is one of the players that just legit moves across the map straight after. Killed 18 SCVs already. Probably with some Ling or Bane run by that I missed. When I was looking at the Raven. As, he's just moving in. He's gonna eat him alive. Or, he's still a tank in a good position. Marines trying their best. No target fire out of the tank. Is this gonna get pushed back? 21 workers have gone down. So it's 73 to 54. There is a 4CC. We have, well, there used to be 8 barracks. Now there's only 7. One of the barracks, I think, just got killed. Depots are going to burn down as well. You know what you could do if you're Byun here? Is you kind of treat this like an 8 Rex game. So pretend you don't have a fort base. Just bump a lot of marines. Just get them out there. Keep the Raven close by. Like 2 Rex builds with a Raven, or sorry, 8 Rex builds with a Raven are insane. Because you have the anti-armor missile. You have the ability to quickly take out... creep tumors as well. Byun here going for a triple attack to the right side. I think that's a very good move. His tank count, though, is looking a little bit dicey. Not gonna lie about that. He has none. His mine count is also looking dicey because he only has 3. This got spotted. Oh, he's gonna boost. Boost to the main, boost to the main, boost to the main, boost to the main, boost to the main. Spores, not even close to being in position. Oh, this one medevac is so low, though. Queen showing up. This is not gonna end well, is it, for our man? Absolutely not. Marines are trying to get picked up. Moving into safety. Hydra's on the side. Oh, gonna get 2 big kills here. Byun. Sloppy play into sloppy play into sloppy play. This one's gonna go down in the end as well. There's how many more... Yeah, how many more revives do you need in this game, Byun? Because this is not looking great. 168 supply to 140. The funny thing here is that there's no hive, I don't think. So Dark is actually more all in. Those pickoffs were huge because Dark is about to try and kill his opponent. Is he morphing this into Banes? I think he should. He's not going to, but I think he should have. Oh, just straight up GG's. What? I don't understand that. What is this GG for? There's something... Just the 8 links in the main? I guess he thought it was gonna be more or what? And some mines remaining, no? Even now there's still 4. Oh, well. I mean, it was good for Dark, but not over. I think as he left, it was like 150 to 132. He must have thought there was going to be like 20 links or so in the main, but it was just, I think it was just 7, not even 8. So, yeah, a little bit over-eager there on the GG, in my mind. See if it's going to be over-eager again. What these players are up to. So far, nothing weird. You know what I think is still an underrated strategy, despite it at sometimes being a bit overrated? I think Proxy 2 and Proxy 3 Rex, I think are still highly underrated, especially by these guys with the sick micro. Why does Byun never do that, huh? See Byun, the cheeky little 2 Rex, cheeky little 3 Rex in there, you know? Just for banter, see if we can get something done. It's so good against Hatch first. It's so good, man. I love that build. Could hide them here. Imagine 2 racks over. Oh. Puff, puff. That's really sick now. That type of stuff. Oh, I love that so much. Either way, just a standard game this time. Terrans have completely stopped scouting, by the way. They've figured out in all matchups how to survive without scouting, which is definitely a move and a half in my mind. It saves so much money not having to scout. Here we go. Ooh. Ling almost gets taken out, but instead the Reaper takes a bit more damage. I think he's gonna lose 1 Ling at least. This feels like a 1 Ling type of scenario. Control's good. Control's good. Ooh. 1 Ling, 1 Ling, 1 Ling, baby. No, not happening. I love these little micro interactions. Kind of like skill checks. I don't think there's ever been a game decided by the first Reaper killing 2 Lings or 1 Ling, but it feels good. It's a mental blow. It absolutely is a mental blow. And as mental blows can also have physical effects, it's also, this is like Byun hitting Dark. You know, if you kill 2 Lings. In this case, it's Dark hitting Byun. Because everything that's mental can also manifest in a physical way at some point. It's true. I know. I listen to crime podcasts sometimes, and that's what they told me. Ah, come on, what is this? Lose the Reaper for free, that's bad. Starport, what's up with that, huh? 2 Hellions. 2 more Viking. I think Viking is my favorite opener, to be honest. Like, it just feels so good to have a unit that can clear Overlords. And then it also can spot stuff later on. I just love that unit so much. I think the most powerful is Viking into Raven. If you get away with that and you don't get killed by roaches, like, that really is a vibe, as the kids would say. That is fantastic vibes even. Instead it's going to be, ooh, Viking into Cloak. I didn't used to be a believer, but I've been enlightened. I'm starting to believe in the Viking into Cloak a little bit more. It's one of these builds that kind of needs to grow on you. You know, it's like when you have your first beer and you pretend you like it. It's like, ugh. It's kind of like that with the Viking Banshee. It's like one of your favorite Terran plays and you see it, it's like, oh. You pretend that you're like, oh, I like this build. This is pretty smart, guys. So you don't really like it. But then you see it a couple of times and you see it in action. You start to see the potential in it. You know, the tricks. So one of the main downside of opening with Banshees is that the Banshees can never go in unspotted because there's Overlords everywhere. But because you use the Viking, the Banshees... The queens need to gamble where your air units are gonna go, if they are even gonna go somewhere. And often, it's Viking into Liberator, so you get this type of spore positioning. You see? Well, there's no spore here. Spore in the main, no spore here either. So you have the chance that your opponent only gets 1 or 2 spores and a base remains kind of empty. And on top of that, when there are spores, they're often in the wrong spot. So, you know, no matter which way you look at it, it's really cool. And then, yes, it does delay your Starport units by a little bit, but not by a crazy amount. On top of that, it also adds into the mind game that usually if you see a Viking as a Zerg, it's like, oh, Roachalin is good against that. But now, if the other guy opens Viking and you go for a Roachalin, there's still going to be a Banshee ready to meet you meet and greet with a Banshee. If you're a Roach, that's a meet and greet you definitely don't want. It's not a fun meet and greet at all. Which I can only assume is what most meet and greets are. Just not that nice. Well, I think meet and greets are fun is when they're natural or organic. But I can't imagine having to pay like $250 for a 20-second meet and greet with an artist. I don't think that is fun for either party. So I guess it's different from a meet and greet then, because the meet and greet between Banshee and Roach are definitely fun for the Banshees. Oop. Banshee's gonna get 10 kills, which is a very significant amount. You know what rule I always use? Is for every air unit that you build, is you want to get 3 kills. That's what I say. So if you build 2 Banshees, you want to get 6 kills. If you build 2 Banshee and a Viking, you want to get 9 kills, because 3 times 3 is 9. And I think the same thing counts for Oracles. Maybe 3.5 or 4 with Oracles. But with Terran, I think the number is 3. If you get 6 worker kills with Banshees, like, oh, that's nice. That's cool. With Hellions, you don't need to do anything. You just clear 2 creep tumors. You hit a Ling at some point, and you pretend to run by versus the Queens, and you're actually in a good spot. So right here, we're happy, because we're 4 above the kind of expected value of the Viking plus 2 Banshee. But then again, he did lose a Banshee. So that is a minus point. And you should never lose the air units. That is something as well. So I'm going to deduct 3 points for that. And at this point, I've pretty much lost track of what I was talking about. So I think it's an okay trade, is what I'm trying to say. It's very close to what you'd expect in this type of game. Lots of Hydras out. Actually, lots of Hydras out. Marine tank now moving onto the map. Banelings are going to get caught. That was probably for some type of run-by, which is going to be fairly frustrating. 5th base going to get cancelled, or 6th base going to get cancelled. These aliens are just poking up ramps and poking down ramps and just doing pokes in general, and it's kind of working. Look at these tank positions. Good luck with that, buddy. Oh, this is an Atrax, by the way. Oh! You know what would be good with this? A Raven. Viking into 2 Banshee and then a Raven. If you play like that, that's probably not great, but I would enjoy it anyway. It's gonna just get scouted as well here. Oh, that was already scouted. So, I mean, if you're dark here, you really don't need to do anything. You just want to not die and probably send out a massive, massive run-by at some point. That is what you usually do against this type of play. So you just send everything across the map. Because if you have to wait for Hive to finish and Vipers, life is going to be difficult. This is a crazy attack. I don't understand this. This is really a crazy attack. Crazy bad, mainly. Yeah, that was absolutely not it. I think he killed a tank and the Hellbats, but that's not good enough. And now on top of that, this base is going to get attacked, which is a serious issue, because that means you have to defend this base. If you have a 5th ready, you can send your workers over, counterattack, clear 20, 30 workers, and then you just are still on 4 base versus 2, basically. 3rd base is there for the Terran, but without any workers. Now, Dark is just in trouble. I think Dark is actually just dead, to be honest. He's just dead. He's so far behind now. He's going to clean this up. These Marines still alive. There's not that many transfuses left over. Drones are probably going to fall soon if Dark doesn't show up with some units here at a rapid pace. Medevacts need to stay alive. They will. 170 supply to 141. We have an Ultra Cavern on the way, which honestly is a really cool call. So Dark right now is saying, hey, my eco is balls, my supply is lower, but my tech is going to be better. So I'm getting Vipers to deal with your tanks. And then I pray to God that I can get chitinous plating as well as 2 or 3 Ultras out. Because if you're fighting against pure Marine, what this army practically is, 81 Marines, 2 tanks, these Ultras are just not gonna die. They're hardly gonna be taking any damage. I wouldn't even mind seeing a 4th base, yeah. I love this call. Not a huge fan of the added in reactors. I understand that Byun wants to continue pushing because he has a lot of momentum, but knowing what we know, the fact that there's an Ultra Cavern pumping, those 3 barracks having tech labs on them would have been a huge asset for Byun. As he drops into the natural, is going to take out a couple of workers at the same time pushing at the right side. And might be capable of taking out this base. The Baneling count is extremely low, only 9 total. And this is going to continue to deal damage. This base is gone. All of these drones are going to fall. Simple as that. Yeah, Byun's still in a fantastic spot. It's hard to imagine Dark getting back into this series. And thus, I'm not even trying to imagine him getting back into this series. Into this game. 2 Ultras are about to pop. Supplies look very close, but the economic situation on the ground here is extremely different. Hello, Marines. Be careful, please, good sir. Still some tanks in the back. We have 3-3 on the way here for the Terran player, who is still going to win this fight, I think, with the medevac help. Yeah, loses all the tanks. We have a medevac in the main as well. I mean, I think at this point, if you're Byun, I think you should probably still start some liberators or like more tanks. He's gonna get mines here. So yeah, I guess he just wants to continue firing stuff. I'd be kind of afraid of these Ultras, not gonna lie. Like 2 Ultras, they pack a punch. I guess he doesn't even have level 2 Carapace quite yet. Does have the... Oh, also doesn't have chitinous. That must have just been cancelled. I missed that. I'm sorry for that. If you have a big stim forward, yeah, Byun's going to be picking up the W here. Not just of this game, but also the W of this series. As with just 2 Ultras, I don't think it's going to be possible. Lurker transition coming out on 3 bases, 51 workers. 4th base already mining for Byun. 5th will soon be on the way as well. We have a triple drop heading in toward the main as Byun is pulling back this army. And Dark is still setting up to fight an army that doesn't exist anymore. I wonder if he saw this on the minimap. I think he barely caught it. It's going to get 1, 2. Pretty freaking good abducts, not going to lie. Queens in the main should be capable of dealing with the rest. As I don't really think it matters. 15 Marines at a time. Plus 2 vehicle weapons about to finish up. Plus 3 infantry weapons, half a minute away from finishing as well. We're gonna attempt a defense over here. Don't think that's quite going to succeed though. Like Ultras of creep, even against Marines, are not the greatest. It's also just 2 Ultras without chitinous. Like the chitinous cancel is huge here. I guess the plan is to get 10 lurkers and then pray to the Lord that Byun walks into every single lurker. You can counterattack and then you win the game. You have a Ghost Academy. We're seeing these barracks now switching onto tech labs, which is 100% the correct call. It's 3 base versus 4. I mean, Dark staying in is a testament to how much he loves winning and how much he hates losing, perhaps. But this is, yeah, very unlikely story. He's gonna push back this army, though, actually, in a pretty big way. There's no medevacs remaining, but you have 2 medevacs still here. But these Marines are not even gonna get pushed back all the way because Dark just needs to keep this base alive so badly. Medevacs are full HP or practically full HP, so can still elevate her into the main. And Byun can be taking some of the worst trades right now, which by the way he isn't, but he could, and it would still be fine. There are no lurkers out on the map yet, and that means that if he loses this lurker then, I mean, that's it for the tech. That's it for the chances. That's it for everything. 49 works to 74. Dark realizes. Calls GG. Byun wins the series with a 2-1 score. Nice games. Really, really happy with how Byun played here as well. This was solid stuff. It looked cool and it worked. And that's really the only 2 things that matter in life. So yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Hope you all enjoyed it too. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks for watching and bye-bye.